So since the M2 iPad Pro came out in October, a lot of you have been asking me, is the M1 iPad Pro still worth it in 2022? And I would argue that not only is the M1 iPad Pro good enough, it's still absolute overkill for almost all users. Almost. Let's ramble.
Hold up, things go wild when I pull up. They all on me like it wants.
Hey, what's up guys? It's great to see you all again, and if you're new here, I'm Patrick and this is where I ramble about tech and other stuff. So like I said in the intro, my DMs have been going a little nuts lately with people that came across a good deal on an M1 iPad Pro, and they're asking me whether the M1 is still worth it in 2022 or 2023 almost, or whether they should spend the extra bucks and get the brand new M2 iPad Pro. And for me, the answer has been pretty consistently, absolutely, the M1 iPad Pro is still worth it. In fact, it is still much more than the vast majority of users actually need. I dedicated an entire video outlining why I chose not to buy or review the M2 iPad Pro, and if you want to see me rant about that, I will link to that video at the end of this one. However, there is a specific subset of iPad Pro users to whom the M2 iPad Pro is the iPad they've been waiting for many, many years. And I've had to readjust my views on the M2 iPad Pro a little bit, specifically for those users, and that is because a fellow YouTuber recently made a video calling me and some other YouTubers out on exactly that matter. And he was right. And I will explain exactly what happened later on in the video. But first, let me reiterate that for the vast majority of iPad Pro users, including me and most likely you, the M1 is still everything you could need and more, and there's a few reasons why I say that. So when the M1 iPad Pro was announced in April 2021, Tech YouTube, including yours truly, went absolutely bananas. I was fully expecting an incremental upgrade from the 2020 model, but when the spring Apple event was over, I took to Twitter faster than you can say Tim Cook to nerd out with my buddies about how awesome this new iPad Pro was. The big shocker was of course the iconic moment when Tim Cook took off his mask and placed a brand new M1 chip inside the iPad Pro. Wait, what? This was mind-blowing because we all expected Apple Silicon to be exclusive for Mac computers and for the iPad Pro lineup to continue with the A-series Bionic chips. On top of that, for the first time in history, Apple gave us the option to increase the RAM inside the iPad to a whopping 16 gigabytes of RAM. Now, just to put that in perspective, the 2020 iPad Pro had 6 gigabytes of RAM. So this was a massive jump in performance, but that wasn't all. Oh no, how about that display? The 12.9-inch M1 iPad Pro was the first tablet to have that beautiful mini LED display, or as Apple calls it, Liquid Retina HDR display, with 120Hz ProMotion. So basically, what we have here is a miniature Apple Pro XDR display. Now guys, since you're watching an iPad Pro video, you obviously have a taste for high-end tech. Now what if I told you there's a way to win the most amazing tech while also supporting different charities? Omaze is on a mission to transform charitable giving, and they do so by organizing sweepstakes, offering you an opportunity to win incredible prizes while donating to a charity. This time around, Omaze is offering you a chance to win a custom Tesla Model S Apex and support a great cause, the Peterson Automotive Museum. You can take home the best Tesla to date, a Model S Plaid, made custom by the team at Unplugged Performance. And even if you don't, you will still be helping to support a great cause. Just imagine yourself climbing into the driver's seat of the fastest production sedan ever made, loaded with cutting-edge tech, and with a whopping 396-mile driving range. Head to omaze.com/PatrickRambles and enter now. The experience closes on January 27th at 11:59 p.m. PST, and I promise you, you don't want to miss this. So to sum those things up, super powerful M1 chip inside an iPad, 16 gigabytes of RAM on an iPad, and the best display ever made for an iPad. So could you blame us for speculating that finally, after all those years of iPad Pro, we would be getting Pro apps? And within the frame of reference of your average YouTuber, that means video editing and some creative work. Finally, we would be getting Final Cut Pro on the iPad so we could edit our videos on this device. Finally, we'd be getting full-blown photo editing suites, and finally, we'd be getting Logic Pro, right? Wrong. While Apple gave us the most advanced iPad we had ever seen, totally ready to take on all of those apps I just mentioned, in terms of software, crickets, nothing. We were still stuck with iPad OS, which was not much more than a blown up version of iPhone OS. All that money spent on this insane piece of hardware, and for what? So then, all eyes were on iPadOS 16 because maybe Apple put all of that power inside the M1 iPad Pro because it was preparing something amazing with iPadOS 16. Maybe this was going to be the iPad operating system that would finally break away from being a glorified iPhone OS and turn it into an operating system that would fully exploit the power of the M1 iPad Pro. But when Apple launched the beta version of iPadOS 16 earlier this year, we were once again disappointed. Sure, there were some nifty new features like Stage Manager and finally full screen support, so we could hook up our iPads to an external monitor without those hideous black bars. Universal Control is pretty cool, which lets you control your Mac and your iPad with the same keyboard and mouse combo. Oh, and the iPad even got something called Reference Mode, which makes the iPad color accurate for things like color grading videos. But still no real pro apps. So here we are with this magnificent beast of a machine, this beautiful slab of top-of-the-line hardware, and no apps to take full advantage of it. So can you imagine our utter confusion when Apple announced an even more powerful iPad Pro in October of this year? Hey guys, we know we didn't let you use the hardware on the M1 iPad Pro, and the software is still miles behind, but here's another hardware upgrade, because why not? Now, there's a reason why Apple chose to announce this new iPad by means of a press release and not an actual event, and that's because it's mostly an incremental upgrade. In most ways, it is still the same device. It still has that 12.9-inch Liquid Retina XDR display. It still has the 12 and 10 megapixel camera, same Thunderbolt connector, 5G, 2 terabytes of maximum storage, 16 gigabytes of maximum unified memory, and it works with the same Magic Keyboard and the same Gen 2 Apple Pencil. The media engine is slightly improved, and of course it now comes with a more powerful M2 chip. So that leaves the question, why would anyone spend that much money on a fully spec'd M2 iPad Pro? And let's just have a quick look at how much that would set you back. So we picked the 12.9-inch iPad Pro because of the display, space gray of course, 2 terabytes, Wi-Fi plus cellular, no engraving, no pencil, no keyboard, no trade-in, bam, $2,300. And bear in mind that this is the naked iPad, no Magic Keyboard, no Apple Pencil. If you want to add those two, you're looking at a total price tag of around $2,800. You can get great deals on a spec'd out 12.9-inch M1 iPad Pro for around $1,500 to $1,700, or you can look into refurbished or even used option for even better deals, and you would end up with an iPad that is more powerful than any of the current software requires, with basically the same features as the M2. And I know some people have been saying, yeah, but DaVinci Resolve is coming and it's only for the M2 iPad Pro. No. It will be available on the M1 iPad Pro as well. So for the vast majority of users, the M1 iPad Pro is still more than enough. It can literally handle anything you throw at it. It makes use of all the new features of iPadOS. It is not excluded from any new software launches, and that includes DaVinci Resolve. Now, at the beginning of this video, I said that there is a specific subset of iPad Pro users to whom the M2 iPad Pro has been the answer to their creative prayers. And that subset is digital artists, more specifically illustrators. People that use their iPads and their Apple Pencil to draw and to create art. For those people, the new hover feature is groundbreaking and could justify the purchase of an M2 iPad Pro. And here, I have to admit, I was a little quick to dismiss the hover feature as a gimmick. Probably because the use case for this feature is a little outside of my frame of reference. Thankfully, there are people like Adam Duff from Lucid Pixel, to whom all of this is very much inside his frame of reference, to correct us. In his very interesting video, he explains that he's been an early adopter of art tech like Wacom tablets, etc. for many years, and the iPad Pro had been the very first real portable all-in-one drawing device. But it always had one major flaw, and that is that it didn't let you do things like interactively adjust brush sizes. So the new hover feature is a feature he and other artists have been wanting for a long time, and having listened to him explain why it makes such a huge difference for digital artists, it makes complete sense to me, and I encourage you to go and watch this video if you want to learn more about why that is. He truly does a great job explaining. With that said, for me, and most likely for you, My advice would be to save yourself some cash and go with the M1 iPad Pro, which is still more than enough in 2022, and it will be more than enough in 2023. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please get one of these. It really does make a difference. Subscribe for more content. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.